Hi, I'm Joe Gerdes, and this is Coffee in the Capitol. Our guest today is Cindy Adams Dunn, the Secretary of the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, DCNR. Madam Secretary, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Joe. Always glad to be with you and be in front of your PSATS members.
Your department oversees 121 state parks and 2.2 million acres of forest, places where Pennsylvanians seem to always want to flock to for enjoyment and recreation, but even more so during this past pandemic. I was just wondering, have you seen an uptick in folks appreciating and understanding the great natural resources that Pennsylvania has to offer?
Yeah, Joe, we really have. It's, I've been in this career for a long time in this recreation conservation field. And like many of my coworkers, I've never seen anything like it. People flock to the outdoors in record numbers. Even in the worst, darkest moments of the early pandemic, when you really weren't to really go out except for food and pharmaceuticals. But the third item on that list of essential things was to take a walk. And so from the very beginning, it was recognized that people need to get outside and need to connect with nature. And what was really neat for us, and I'm speaking for our staff, even though they kept us really busy, it was great to be able to serve people at the time of their greatest need. And they needed that outlet. They needed to get outside. They needed to spend time with their family and friends. Obviously, everyone's being really careful, but time outdoors and clean, fresh air felt safe. It was important for people's health, mental health, and just an outlet, get away from, Zoom calls and school from home and everything else that was going on.
Well, I know I enjoyed it myself and appreciate the hard work that you and the men and women at DCNR did to make sure that we could all use those facilities. Your department has partnered with many of our townships to help promote local township parks. Can you help explain some of those partnerships, how they've been working, and maybe expand on a little bit about some resources that may be out there for our parks?
Sure. And I think that one way to look at the outdoors in Pennsylvania is it's a mosaic of ownership.
Sure.
And local communities. We have 6,000 local parks in Pennsylvania. Our grants program, we have a community conservation partnership program, which we call C2P2, that funds matching grants, and many of the applicants and successful applicants are townships. So we're trying to connect them to all the assets they have. And our partnership with the Pennsylvania Recreation and Parks Society and the Land Trust, part of We Conserve, with all these conserved land, to provide this whole mosaic of opportunity for people to spend time outdoors. This federal money can be matched with state money in many cases to provide, close to home asset. But we set a goal, in addition, in our recent state rec plan, to have a park within 10 minutes of every Pennsylvanian and a trail within 10 minutes, just based on what thousands of people in the public told us.
Your website is also a great tool to find out where those assets are. Right. And I believe there's an app as well, isn't there?
Yes. Yeah, we have an app, and then we have we have maps. We show the 6,000 parks. We have an overlay that shows areas that are in need of more recreation services. There's a bit of a myth out there that people in rural areas don't need parks. They're living in, among farm fields and, forests and mountains. But, I grew up in a rural area. You actually do need a place to go recreate. You can't always recreate in every way in rural areas without the trail, without the park. So we actually need those assets across the state.
PSATS has been working with the department and other stakeholders on the new ATV pilot program.
Yes, that's a new offering.
You've been working with several of our townships on some of the issues that are coming up with a new program like this, such as safety on the township roads and the state roads and the state forest roads, and traffic, parking, dust control, all the issues that surround such an undertaking.
We had a policy for the longest time not to allow ATVs on any forest roads. What we do have are a set of state forest land trails. They're carefully designed in the forest for ATV trails. And many of the townships up in the North Central had started opening up township roads to ATVs. People were up there. Can we create an opportunity that allows residents and visitors to go fluidly from a trail system in the state forest, past a township road to an amenity like a restaurant, or to get gas? They don't have to trailer up to go get gas. So really, the townships were in a leadership position on that because they opened up their roads first. So what we've put together, legislature had a strong interest in this. It was such a big change for everybody that we thought a pilot approach, a carefully monitored pilot approach is a way to go, so that everybody can, test this out and monitor it and see how it works for locals and visitors. So we've had public input webinars. Before we launched the pilot, we had a special meeting with the townships, but then right now, since it's underway, we're having public webinars. Our advisory committee, we're looking at everything from the environmental impact, like what's the environmental impact, what's the social impact, like noise, and the environmental side, like you mentioned, dust is emerging as a concern, of course. And if you've seen, a rural road on a summer day, that's possible, right, regardless of what vehicle goes through. We're concerned at DCNR side about invasive species and sensitive areas. So we're monitoring all of that. So the pilot will go a few years, and then we're expected to produce a report to the legislature by the end of 2023 that reports on these factors. And then again, more public process. And does this work? Doesn't it? How does it have to be modified? Do we want to move forward with it? Do we want to consider it other places? And it's, I think it's an open question for us and for the townships and for the user. But anyway, it's interesting, and we're getting some positive feedback and getting some concerns both. And I guess that's what a pilot's about. Yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate you including PSATS in the group of stakeholders to help in that, and we look forward to working with you on this, and we're excited about seeing what comes of it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like a lot of things. So there's going to be some folks who like it and some who don't, and sorting out where the place to land and in the end is going to be something I think we'll all need to look at together, because the townships were first in, they're the first to open the roads, and now this expands both the opportunity and the impact to the townships. I think, the township voices could be very critical on this.
Well, thank you. Madam Secretary, that's all the time we have for today.
Oh, okay.
Thank you again for taking time to join us with Coffee in the Capitol.
Anytime. Thank you. And thank you for including me.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Madam Secretary, thank you again for taking the time to join us. And remember, if you like what you're seeing, subscribe to PSAT's YouTube channel and follow our social media pages for more Township Video News content. Next Tuesday, look for Dave Talk. And as always, thanks for watching.